So just
All right, welcome back to the Entrepreneur to Entrepreneur Shift the Culture podcast. We do apologize. We were missing last week. It was kind of a big week for the Shift the Culture community as they had a Starter Island this week and weekend. So we were unable to record last week, but we are back. And because we missed an entire week, we have a very, very special episode this week. We have a big, legendary celebrity in the house today joining us on this podcast. The one and only Jamaal Rolle, celebrity artist. A lot of people don't know Jamaal. They don't know we've been to school together. You know, we've been to the big tuna can on Robinson Road. Robinson Road, called R and Bailey.
White stripes.
He's older than I thought he was.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But yes, we come through the public school system. You know, we ain't supposed to be nothing in life.
Okay,
Me? Well, I'll admit it. I don't have the problem being old. That's all right with me. But yes, we have Jamaal joining us on this episode, and today we're going to speak about failure, which is one of the things that a lot of people let get in their way when it comes to entrepreneurship and pursuing entrepreneurship or even pursuing their dreams and things that they want to do in life. And I think Travis wanted to dive in because it was an interesting week for him for the Starter Island project. So Travis, you said you wanted to talk about failure.
Yeah, man.
Please get into it and let us know your thoughts on failure, the fear of failure, and what you really wanted to speak about today.
Yeah, I mean, well, failure. One thing about we had a great week with the Starter Island competition, our third one for the week. Probably 2 weeks ago, it probably wouldn't have happened. I probably would have canceled it. Mainly because we had a lot of different challenges with sponsorship, and we had a lot of different issues with just getting the right feedback and response that we wanted. And we kind of changed the format initially than what we did. We went on the boat a year ago. So there's a lot of fear kind of revolved around failing of it, if you will. You know what I mean? Will it go right? Will we do it the right way? Will people still receive it and enjoy it? So even in those couple months leading up to it, it was very. I was afraid.
You were afraid, Travis?
Yeah, I mean, because it happens. I mean, it's all trying just. And that's the thing entrepreneurs should talk about too more. It's not always bright and rainbows like success all the time. It is fair, and it was just a blessing to have something like this to talk about it and kind of share my experiences with that as well. But fears and failure is definitely real. But I'm glad we pushed through. I'll probably kind of sprinkle more about it throughout the whole thing. But it was just good to actually go through it.
Well, I find that with failure, the things that are fair. When you actually make it to that situation, you're like, wow, it wasn't as
it wasn't as bad as it, yeah.
That person who you duck in, that phone call, when you talk to them, you're like, wow, I should call them, the longer you wait, I mean, the worse it would be. But if you call them now and you get that over with, then yeah, but I find that it would lag on. That was something I had to. My early stage, ducking people with drawings. I don't do it anymore, but when I was used to be so overwhelmed with work, it was a good problem as an entrepreneur.
Right. Well, let's talk about the beginning, because you're getting into you're already doing well and you have a lot of work coming in. Let's talk about the beginning. Before you had the name that you have, when you told your mother, listen, mommy, I want to draw for a living, or anybody close to you, what was their reaction to you telling them what you wanted to do, knowing that that's something that's quite unconventional in this town to want to do?
Yeah, well, natural thing is you got to be crazy.
Right.
I mean, if you want to be an artist. I mean, we could go before. Let's just say I had a teacher who would be the person who I would expect would encourage you to say, hey, be what you want to be, follow your dreams.
Right.
I had a teacher, when I told her, listen, I want to be an artist, she said, what? Art is a dumb subject, first of all.
Wow.
Wow.
The dumb children who don't good at anything else, you just put them in art. And I was like, no, but I'm really an art student. Art is what I want to do. And she was like, artists only make money when they die.
Wow. That's
the
perception. And then that's, but what I thought back was a ridiculous notion. I'm a person who's hard-headed. I like to prove people wrong or prove me right. Type thing. And so, good thing I didn't, believe that and just say and not follow my dreams. You know, now I get a lot of President Obama through the Pope,
exactly.
Oprah. You know, I want to say hello to that teacher. I know she.
But that's the crazy thing I find with that though is that you approach it with that hard-headed thing first, like what you thought. I'm gonna do it. Like I believe in this dream, but like it's a point when you go through your journey and it gets hard, where I asked my question that too. Is like, what the hell am I doing? You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I was brave and all that before, but then you get to that point where it's like hard, where you have to deal with life really, and like you're not getting the response with everything you want, and you be like, should I go back? And you kind of turn around and you see where you say, man, I don't have to like going too much is too far.
It did start out rocky. I mean, I don't want to say that. Like I would meet young kids who said, you know, Jamaal, I met a guy who said I left the police for us because you inspired me to be an artist. And I was like, what? You inspired me. I want to join the police force. And I was like, wow, you know, it isn't. I mean, you're seeing all of that now, all accolades, and I have a successful career now. But it didn't start that way. Right. I had to sacrifice a lot as an artist.
Give us some of those sacrifices you had to make, because a lot of people don't realize that it comes with sacrifice, and I think that's why a lot of people aren't successful, is because they're not willing to make the necessary sacrifices. So give us an example of a couple of the sacrifices you had to make.
Well, I used to draw caricatures downtown. I started doing that, and with the culture how it is in the States, like you travel to New York, I used to charge $20 for a caricature, but in the States you get it for $10 and $5. And so a lot of times I would have to alter my price just to get something, you know, because just for me to survive.
Right.
You know.
Right.
When I sort of elevated, I went to Marina Village at Atlantis, and I still always face that problem, particularly with American cultures, American clientele with haggling and that type of thing. And that was something I always will feel within myself that, wow, at the end of the day, I felt bad that I'm not getting what I really worth.
Right,
you know,
right.
But I still have to eat.
Right. And we actually spoke about that on last episode about pricing and compromises that you have to make when it comes to pricing.
And then your family and friends who want
that discount,
but they don't want to pay you on that.
Same thing Gail was talking about. The same.
I had like people who would, you know, you excited that you feel like, okay, you got a big job. I had this guy who had me do all these portraits, and I talked to him about the deposit, and he didn't have the deposit then, but I was trying to meet this date. And I presented it and everything, and he didn't have the balance, and they had a program they wanted to present these portraits to for, and I was stuck running behind him to get my money because you know, I had to borrow money to get framing to do these things because I know I get this money. And after I ran behind him for about weeks and then it turned to months, and I had, you know, I was starving. I mean, wow, you know, it was struggling for me to you know, just to make ends meet. Right. And you know, I eventually just put that off after I got so tired.
Yeah,
you know,
you kind of took it as Ellen.
Yeah, the guy said, meet me this place 7 o'clock in the morning. I was there 7 sharp. That was the first meeting I ever was.
Still he wasn't there.
And and so those type of things, unfortunately, us as artists and people in that type of business,
in the creative,
you know, you would experience. But what I did with my portraits too, a lot of them, the celebrities, is I gifted a lot of them. You know, it started off as a gifting project. I would wake up, let's say get up or stay up 3 in the morning, and I find out that there's a celebrity gonna be by aura, or someone say, hey, but you get a celebrity, and I'll draw them up and go there and present it. So I used it as a marketing tool, and it still cost me. I would buy the framing and everything, so I would say, well,
and man hours.
And I would like, wow, if this person get the portrait and their friends see it, then they would say, where you get this from? And then so that was a marketing thing that worked. And now, I mean,
you see what it's done.
Agents and stuff calling me from all over the place to travel and everything to do a portrait. So, but it didn't. It started out small and then it built up this way. So I'll tell a lot of young artists that, you know, you can't just say, okay, right now this guy everywhere, he's doing portraits all over and all that. That's what I want to be. So let me just leave my good job or whatever and do it. No, I'm not saying that. Listen, that you must stick to the government job. We know the pattern that you go to school, get a good education, go to college, get that. After that, you get you get a low-cost home. You get a government job, and then when you're 60-something, you retire, and then you get like 10 years living, you die.
Right.
And that's
that's the part everybody forgets. It's and you die.
Yeah.
after you do all that for a couple of years.
All of that struggle, and you paying all this mortgage, and when you finish, and then you die. You know, and so I mean, if you have a job that you know, you could still start off your thing doing it on the side, and then you could build up time.
Exactly. Right. Gail.
Yes, sir.
Fair. Now, I personally think you still wrestling with fear in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. First of all, am I correct that you still on a daily basis deal with fear when it comes to entrepreneurship?
And
tell us what it is that you fear and why.
I think it's a combination of low self-esteem and support.
Okay.
And I think we've spoken about support before, where you know, even if you have one person in your corner, that could be enough.
Right.
And sometimes for me, that one person isn't there, especially with my family doubting, you know, this entrepreneur life and stuff like that. So it kind of gets easy to see when you take your eye off the goal, and you start looking at what's going on around you, and you know, looking at that as opposed to looking at what the end point is. I think that sort of fear can be crippling. In my case, I was raised in a spirit of fear. You know, my mommy could worry. She could worry to paint off the walls. That's just the type of person that she is, right? My father was kind of, you know, urging caution, etc. So there was no real environment in which I was kind of being told to explore things or fly or whatever. So I think battling that and the lack of confidence, like I said, self-esteem or confidence, has produced a very fearful situation for me. Right. That's not to say I'm trying to be comfortable in it. Like, I'm daily looking for things that force me out of a comfort zone, even though I have a high anxiety rate. Right. Or I'm feeling like very anxious. Yeah. For example, my sister, I see you all jumping out of the plane right? that time. We jumping out of the plane. Me of my own, volition, would never do that. Right. People be like, oh, you scratch it off your bucket list. It was never on the bucket list to scratch off, right? But things like that I would never do. Right. Otherwise. This year especially, I've been concentrating on doing things that get me out of that comfort zone. And that's been my focus for this year. And it has been an interesting journey thus far. Even up to yesterday, I auditioned for a host position for something that I would never have auditioned, because you're putting yourself out there. Right. And I think that's what it is. It's a fear of judgment and a fear that whatever people think, you know, we're so hung up on what other people would think about us or what we're doing. And to get past that and to be like in your own groove and on your own, that's a great place to be. Right. You know, where people say whatever and like congratulations to them. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm working toward. I'm not quite there yet, I'll admit, but I think fear is something that you have to consciously push past. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And let me tell you, you want me to help you get past that fear? Go ahead, Pastor Collie. Pastor. Oh, jeez. No, that's my old man.
And the church said.
You know, I'm far from pastor. But anyhow, listen, let me tell you what has helped me. And that's recently what I've started to apply, right? Okay. Like Jamaal said then, we all could die. Yeah. That's the one inevitable thing that's going to happen. You could try and delay it. One thing you can't, you could control it to a degree. We don't want you to kill yourself. But death is going to happen to everybody. Yeah. And that is now.
You could upload your conscience into a computer and then you can.
You need to stop watching Chappie. But it's been motivating me in that, like, wait, I only have a certain amount of time on this earth to do what I need to do.
And you halfway there. Anyway.
You know what I'm saying?
Shade.
Hey, don't mind.
He's coming back.
Hey, don't mind him though. We was in the same grade though.
So no, but you know what? I think that all the time when I always look and say, "Hey, listen, I'm 32." I'm like, if okay, if we say 70 is like that promise, whatever,
right?
I half of my life. You mean
exactly?
I live half of my life, and that always, you know, whenever I think that, like, wow, you half, or you only have half more, so you gotta, and that's what caused me to work so hard, and stuff, because I like, shoot, I only get half more.
Exactly, and that's what I think of. Like, I only I only have a certain amount of time. So what am I gonna lose by taking a step in the right direction in terms of following my dreams and what I want to do? I only have so much time on this earth, and I don't know when it's gonna end. That could be tomorrow. That could be next week. You know what I mean? And I could say honestly, at this point in my life, if something was to happen to me, I would be satisfied knowing that I was in route or on progressing in what I wanted to do. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I may not have reached a level that I was aiming to get to yet, but I was en route as opposed to not moving.
And I think that's a good way to think it too. Like I too feel like if I croak today, at least I wouldn't say I made it yet.
Right.
But at least knowing that you were en route.
Yeah.
I'd be at peace with that.
Right.
And I think more so the type of fear that I kind of have is kind of a combination of what you have and what Gail said and what you said. But more so on the self-doubting thing. So like I really don't have so much of a fear of what people think of me. More so than what I would think of myself if I walked away from something. Like, you know what I mean?
I think that's me as well.
It's a part of experiences. So it's like you bust your ass and you did all you could, right? And then you decide that you don't want to do it anymore. That will always haunt you. And you see other people doing it, or you see like other people could achieve it, but that you don't only get bugged about the fact that you walked away from that, and now some type of self-doubt rolls in you. It's like, could I have ever done that? So I rather push through the fear and do a lot of different things just to have that under my belt, and knowing I could do it again. Now the next challenge is, how do I do it? How do I take it a step up and a step further? So that kind of is like a continual fear that kind of keeps rolling up. But I think because I had different scenarios, it may be minuscule and whatnot, but I had stuff where I walked away from, and I didn't really know the reality of what I was walking away from, and then that kind of haunted me for a while, like, you know, and that's just kind of, you know, how my take on it.
Right.
Well, I feel like we all, even as successful entrepreneurs, we would be at a level where you like, wow, I you know, when you're thinking of quitting, or, you know, but whenever you get to the level, you just think of the people that we look up to, like Michael Jordan. I was looking at his story, you know, he was cut from his high school basketball team because he was too short, first of all, and you can't play ball. You get like 2 strikes against you. And when he tried it again, and now he's Michael Jordan. I mean, you're 6'6". That's above average. You are a giant, and you're Michael Jordan. Albert Einstein didn't talk until he was 4.
Yep, that's
didn't
crazy.
read until he was 7. And when you look at Oprah Winfrey, it was like, wow, you have your name too funny, and you're just too ugly for TV to be. You know, nobody would ever catch on to you. Same thing, Barack Obama.
They just like us.
A black guy, you named Barack Obama. You know how you think you could come up. Now you're the demographic of a guy like him. He comes from a interracial family, thing. Guy from Hawaii, but your father is an immigrant, you know, and then you could go and make it to be president of the United States. It's everybody you'd find. You know, Steve Jobs got fired from Apple and came back, and he's Steve Jobs, and everybody. And when you look at them, you find the human, like, wow, this guy is actually human. We look at them as larger than life. And what really personally struck me was Barack Obama was a guy, just seeing his story, I had identified with him a lot with that. And so I expressed it to him in a letter with a painting, and he wrote me back. And I was like, wow, you can't get more human than that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the president of the United States, and here's this guy in the Bahamas, you know, and you decide, well, let me pen a letter, you know, let me write a letter to him or everybody else in the world. Why to him? And that showed, wow, you could really have a connection with people who you look up to. So whenever you facing that wall, or you thinking, wow, this is the end of the road, just think of those people. Think of Jeff Bezos with Amazon. Everybody have their struggle, but once you be consistent, you know that, wow, you have the power to make that do. And
yeah, and that's the thing that a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people, like, I don't know why we allow fear to just cripple us. And there's two things that fear can do to you. Either it can cripple you or it can liberate you. And I find myself, like you, Jamaal, I'm a stubborn person as well.
Yeah.
And I find when I'm in a fearful situation, it's liberating to me. Like I don't have time to worry about everything that could go wrong and all these other situations. Like this is go time right now. This is I have to come through in the clutch because I could Kobe. No, because I could think like there was a couple of situations. For one, when I got fired, like I said, my girl was about 5 months pregnant, no job, no income. I could have sat back and think of everything that could have gone wrong. But when I say not a piece of fear entered my body or doubt, I just started figuring out what is it I need to do. Okay, people like cookies. They say I need to sell them. I need to come up with a price. I need to do this. I need to market it this way. I just started thinking of what I needed to do to start going forward.
You start getting to work.
Yeah, and also with the music seminar that I had, I was put in a position where someone promised some funding, disappeared. I had already made this commitment, committed some funds, and you could probably test this, especially after last week. You know what I mean? Everything. I was in a position where if I had allowed fear and negativity to enter, the event never would have been pulled off. So you just have to focus, and like Gail said earlier, you have to focus on the big picture. You know, you have to always be thinking about the macro instead of the micro. And a lot of people are so myopic when they're thinking of just right now, right in front of me, as opposed to the big picture. Like Jamaal said earlier, when he was...
No pun intended.
Yeah. when he was drawing the pictures for free, he wasn't thinking about, oh, I need this money right now so I could go buy this little thing. He thinking, okay, let me make this investment. This is hopefully going to get my name out there, and then I will benefit in the long run. It's the bigger picture that we have to focus on. And people allow fear to cripple them and continue to stay in that micro mindset, and it just causes them not to take action.
Let me tell you something. When you do conquer that fear, that's the most liberating feeling in the world.
Yes, definitely. Travis, tell us some more about this week now. Tell us specifically. What were the things, that you were fearful of during the Starter Island week?
Well,
how did you react to that?
During the week, there was no fear. Like, I mean, like, well, I lie. Like, at the beginning part of the week, there was fear because we literally I was still trying to secure funding to continue this week. The same week, I was still continuing to get this week.
Right.
So, like, even with my own personal client work, I was just trying to get wrapped up so we could have cash flow to do everything.
Right.
So that in itself, every day was like, it would be situations where, okay, we got through day one. I would go to sleep and then wake up in 4 hours because I know I got to hustle to make sure that day two could get off, and then day three. And like by day three, we were all good to go. But that's how close to the line we were.
So that was a fear of not having.
Well, it was already it was like funds to continue it. Or I mean, at a higher level is that. Because at the end of the day, you have judges, you have sponsors and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the competition is about the people in the competition and what they get out of it.
Right.
And you want to make sure they have the best experience possible. So my concern was just for them. So that was kind of that. But by day three, we were good. But even before that, it was just so much of the fear of the unknown and how many different ways it could go. Like, it was just like, like, what the hell are we going to do? And, like things like promises and, just funding not coming in, and always had to. And this is a good thing about fear too, because when you think you've thought of everything that you could do, there's like 20 different things you could do.
20,000.
You have 20,000 different things when you have fire under your ass.
Yes.
Even in that weekend, I have sketches and stuff of different ways to just come at different approaches. And how do you do this, and how do we scale this, and how we did, and it ended up coming off. So I learned a lot from that in the week alone. But even before that, it was the fear of, like, when I was at that point where, am I going to cancel this? Crazy thing happened this week, kind of what you're saying, when you look at this person, it's like it was like a day where there was a bomb that landed in one of the refugee areas, right? And they pulled a little kid out of the rubble,
Syria.
And they put him in the back of the they put him back in the ambulance.
Yes.
And his face is kind of like tattered, blood here, and he had no emotion, and he didn't know, he was like in shock. and like you could see like the CNN reporter started crying and stuff like that, but like the kid even wiped his face, look at the blood in his hand, and like no emotion, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking, I'm right here being the biggest pussy in the world, right? But like, and this kid is like his whole
Just
world
get
is
born,
and
literally.
he doesn't even know it. So like it was a big thing for me to be like, dog, I gotta snap out of this and try to figure out a way to do this. So even stuff like that was crazy.
That's a good thing that you mentioned. That it's like you look at like a lot of things people complain about are really not that bad.
No,
It's
like a lot of people like, why you just don't care about that? Like, your tire need that, your tire
Right.
need that, and I like, okay.
Exactly. We go put it in the tire.
When people
I mean,
getting amputated and beheaded
exactly.
and stuff, that's something to be scared of.
Yeah, and it may sound bad, but it does help when you. It's a thing where I think people say, you know, somebody always has it worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it may sound kind of bad, but it's true, and it really helps sometimes. Like, it really puts things into perspective for you.
But that's a bad thing. That's one of the negative things of what fear does is like fear kind of puts you in this whole me bubble where you disregard people saying they want to help, and you disregard all the things that could happen, and you even disregard what's happening in the bigger scale of things in the world. That's kind of where you know that buzzword self-aware thing comes in. Is like, look, wait, like it ain't all about you, babe. Like you need to just remove yourself, forget about what people you think you do. You'll still have a good event. Just do it in a different way, or X, Y, and Z. So.
Just whenever you're on that, just take a time to just be in anticipatory bliss. Just delve yourself into that and think about, wow, you know, I think of how much, you know, the good things are going to happen when this do pull off.
Right.
But that's
You
hard
know,
though.
Yeah, but what
It really is.
do that
Yeah, it
because
is.
what
It
happens
is.
is the law, the attraction, you do attract the negative things.
Exactly.
I mean, it's serious. When you think, oh, the worst thing can happen, or if you say, I'm having a bad day, sure enough, you're having a bad day. Yep. Something happened, and then you'll have a series of unfortunate events because it just, you know, in the air, it's just in the universe. You putting that out to the universe. I don't want to sound crazy.
No, but
No,
it's
like,
interesting that you said that
we
because
believe.
it's because we not only do we believe, but we had an entire episode on that.
Yeah.
We had an entire episode on the law of attraction.
And I read The Alchemist recently, so like
You're
talk
speaking
about
to
all that stuff.
believers.
Okay, well, see, for me, why it's weird is because I thought I was the person who discovered it. Actually, real talk. So I'm thinking, okay, either everybody else crazy or I'm the crazy person.
Right.
Or there's something weird, so I wouldn't say nothing to anybody because you know people would
Look
quick
at you
to
a
paint
certain way.
over,
Yeah.
you know. But I find that a lot of things work, and it was frustrating me at an early age because I never knew that what it was. I had like a couple close friends say, listen, something happened, but I don't know the nomenclature of it or how to even with the search or what to do to
explain what
tap
this is.
into it because it has happened.
Right.
But you know, but as I got older, I you know started to find a way to this sort of activates this and you know I just find it unfortunate inside that as humans the things that excite us we'll be like the fact that you could think about somebody, you could just say, wow, we was just thinking about you, and then you see that person around the world. And that's so amazing that we have that power, but that won't be impressive to us. But we see fireworks. Oh, fireworks. We're so impressed with that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, something as amazing as you bringing that person. That's crazy.
Not even fireworks. A fight video through WhatsApp will get us excited nowadays. These people get excited over the worst things possible.
We have I wanted to approach another take on fair kind of to what me and Gail are involved in is improv comedy.
Oh, okay.
Which has its own kind of baked affair in as well. I mean, for people who we don't know, I mean, it's been 2 shows, but we have 1 show left. But shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
We're in an improv comedy group called
Saturday, 8 p.m. at the Dundas.
And then me and Gail are in a kind of few series skits together, and that fear is real, going on stage, being in front of 300 Bahamians who have no love for you if you bust a stale joke.
Right. Yeah.
And like me and Gail kind of have that sense of fear, but that's where like always pushing through says, okay, yeah, it's scary, but we got to figure out a way to do this.
Like, and this is confusing to me. That's why this is what I don't get. Because Gail seems to have the fear in terms of when it comes to believing in herself and in terms of business. Am I correct? But she would do like these improv comedy sketches. She would do plays, like just go completely out of her element for the art.
I mean, like,
I feel like I want to do a little counseling session because I try to get to the bottom of this fear that Gail have, man. Because Gail is a very talented individual, but it just seems that she gets in her own head, and this is probably something that most people experience, not just Gail, but most of society probably has the same anxiety that you have. And like, what is this great fear? What do you feel like? Just people, what they think of you, or are you fearful of success if it works, or? Because, some people are fearful of success, too. Yeah. Like, some people may not know how to handle success if it happens, and so they usually sabotage themselves and their efforts. So what is it? Is it a fear of success or fear of... What is it?
I don't know.
Because I'm trying to help.
Let me put an example.
I'm trying to help people, man.
Dr. Greg.
So let me put an example. So, like before we went on stage, we have this segment called The News, right? And we highlight different topics that kind of what people are talking about throughout the week. And Gail will come and say, yo, so we got to figure this out, right? We got to figure this out. So we have this story, and it'd be like, okay, we don't know what to say, but we have to go on stage in 10, 15 minutes. So it's like...
So nothing's rehearsed.
It's all improv.
All
improv.
Wow.
So it's like, but you have like a kind of a seed, and then you work around a seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what are we going to do? And then me and Gail are back and forth being like, it's like, we know we got to go on stage, but we know we can do it at the same time.
Right.
So it's kind of a hint of fear and a hint of confidence in self that kind of makes the magic happen, and then we come up with jokes, and then we hit it on stage, and people might catch it and they might laugh, but little they know is that we were freaking ourselves out in the back of it.
Yeah.
You know what's powerful about what you said just now? You just described entrepreneurship. That's the exact same thing. That seed you talking about is your vision, what you want, that thing that you want to do. You understand? And you, like me, I'm sure like even for Jamaal and me, like for me, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't have a script. It wasn't rehearsed, but I had to just take action, go out on stage and figure it out as I went along. Yeah. Same thing for, I'm sure you could,
I just used to draw, but I didn't know, when I started, how the celebrity artist thing happened. It was just so weird that I had to develop this portfolio of celebrities. Lil Jon saw it, crazy Lil Jon.
No, I was like, Robin.
Yeah. And he came, and I was in the Marina Village, and he saw me. He said, "You the celebrity artist."
Really?
You the guy.
You the celebrity artist.
Yeah. One you celebrity.
You know what you should have said?
What? And his entourage, he was like, I want you to do a picture of me, and his guys who were with him. We ended up going in the aura and stuff, and all the guys didn't refer to me my name. They just keep saying celebrity artist.
Right.
And then so he sort of coined the phrase.
Right.
Because I said, wow, the celebrity artist, that's...
So Lil Jon gave you a name.
Thanks,
Lil Jon. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's one of the things. He don't even know that. But afterward, it just...
It stuck.
And I was like, wow.
But you just described what you guys are doing is essentially entrepreneurship. There's no blueprint, there's no script, there's no rehearsal. You just go out on stage and you figure it out as you go along. So if you can do that, improv on the stage, you just have to apply those same principles in your business ventures.
But it's still two pile of things you have to battle with that too, though, because even with entrepreneurship, it's that. But it's also, being on point with everything you need to. Let's say if you get prepared for a pitch, you can't just go on a pitch and just go off the fly about your business ideas. You got to come with numbers.
Oh, no.
You got to come with stuff like that. And strangely enough, even with...
But hold on. That's not necessarily true.
That's not necessarily true.
Because I had no numbers.
No, I mean, I said...
We know.
Trust me, if I had to do a pitch on my day one, y'all would have shabby me into the ground because I had no numbers, no kind of plan, nothing like that.
And it's different. Like, different people could pull off the message that they need to get across.
Right.
But without those different things. But what I went to say to lead on is that you could overplan, and that could also create failure.
Yes.
I mean, a failure for you as well.
Some people plan too much.
You plan too much, and you kind of have it like textbook, what needs to happen. And then when things don't
work
happen,
out that way,
you start to like fear what's going on, and then you come up with plan crumble. A, B, C, and all those different things.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess we could wrap this episode up. This was a Excellent conversation. Jamaal, I want to get just a little bit. Give us your background. Just a quick, background, where you come from, where you grew up.
Okay. Well, my name is Jamaal Rolle. I came from a family of 12 children.
God damn.
13 with my dad.
Jesus.
So 1 dozen egg just in one go.
Jesus, was plenty of y'all.
We came from my father was an artist, Harry Rolle.
Okay.
And so we relatively came from a underprivileged background.
Right.
When you have that much children. My mom was a housewife.
And you've been to R.M. Bailey, so that you ain't up, yeah.
We always Bradley and CH3, and every school because we lived everywhere, But I think that growing up underprivileged in that regard helped me with knowing how to survive and struggle, that type of thing. But from an early age, I used to draw up on the walls and get beaten and still do it. So I knew that art is something that I wanted to do.
Right.
And during school time, whenever it's Easter or Christmas, I would be the guy who the teacher say, hey, draw decorations on the board. And
okay.
So whenever like science projects.
Come here, Jamaal.
All the time.
Jamal can draw.
Come here right on this chalkboard.
Jamal.
Whenever we have to draw the science diagrams.
Yeah.
Everybody looking at me. So I devised the business plan. I was like, okay, the guys who want me to draw you, it's $1, and the girls just give me a kiss.
Entrepreneurship.
And so I was a businessman from I was in primary school. I had a lot of kiss and I made a few dollars off of it. So I balanced both. That mattered to me most of the time. Was getting some money and getting some girls.
Right.
And so it was a teacher who we was doing I did a caricature of him instead of doing math. And it passed around and he found it. Everybody laughed and he was mad.
Right.
He was like, who did this? Everybody sold me out.
Throw you under the bus.
So, but then he's like, wow, this is actually nice. I've been around the world. I got a lot of them. Can I buy this for you for $10?
Wow.
And I was like, what?
Oh, nice.
All right. So.
That was your first sale?
Yeah, hence the start of my career.
Yeah, the major one, because you can't forget the little $2 and the kisses.
But then that there really was the start of my career. That's really was a factor that said, wow, you can actually do it. So after that, every class I draw, every teacher. And I got known in school as this guy who draw these real portraits and stuff. I drew Mr. Lancy, remember the principal?
Oh, look, I didn't like Mr. Lancy, but look. I used to come late to school all the time. She used to beat me in my hand, boy.
She's beat you.
Well, look, I didn't like that woman,
I drew her, and me and her was so cool. It's to have the principal cool with you.
Yeah.
Like, she came to my house, I was like, wow. And so I had a career as an artist from then. I started making money, and after that, I started doing the quick sketches downtown, and then it just grew and grew, and what I added with it was business acumen that I find that most creative people lack, and hence the reason why, what set me apart is why is this guy doing this?
Right.
You have so much talented people who it have a lot to do with adding the business, whenever I meet a client, I'm dressed in a suit. I dress in a suit and in a Mercedes and because I'm on the same level as this doctor. Meaning on the same playing field. You're more important than I am.
Right.
You chose to go to school to be a doctor,
and you choose to draw on the wall.
And so, and so what I find with that, I was able to build respect. And
build a brand.
And a brand around, okay, this guy who does high-end portraits for these people like Oprah, Prince Harry, and all of these stuff. And now I could charge what I feel like my work is deserved. And, that to a lot of the creative people around, even if you try to do that, to say, listen, whenever you are in a meeting with somebody, don't be the weak person in the meeting. And a lot of it would start from their parents. You could just look at a meeting in Starbucks or something, and you would see, well, okay, which person is here to the interview and which person is interview.
Which one of the leverage? You can tell.
Right. And you never put yourself at a disadvantage. That's why I had gotten an agent. When I would meet a lot of celebrities, they wouldn't do the talking; it would be their agents. And they talking to me. So what I did was got an agent. So we're on the same level. You're a celebrity, I'm a celebrity.
Right.
Yeah, people talk to my people.
Right, let people talk to my people. But the reason why I asked you to go into that is because a lot of people feel as though their background is what's stopping them from achieving certain things.
No,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted you to highlight your background and look at what you were able to achieve coming from that background. Because like I said, both of us went to R&Billy. You know what I mean? We supposed to be no good gang members or just doing something that, probably in jail or, you know what I mean? We ain't supposed to have no future. You know what I mean? But here we are progressing and doing what we want to do. And that's just to let people know. It doesn't matter where you come from, and it doesn't matter what people may think of you.
If
think for you.
With the stereotype, we'd be being in jail.
Long time.
Long time. And I go back to R&Billy. I went back a few times to speak to the kids and show them that, listen, I sat in these same seats. Now I got a letter from Obama. I always think about that. I'm always thinking, wow, you would think that in my cards, that I would be rubbing shoulders with Prince Harry.
Not with the cards you were dealt.
No. And I went to Rome and had an audience with the Pope.
Right.
I mean, you would think, oh, this guy from magazine. That's why one of the most popular question that's asked to me is, are you Bahamian? People don't even think I'm Bahamian.
Really?
I get that too. Say, you're from the Bahamas?
And when I tell them I'm from R&Billy, everybody thinking I'm from some high-end private school because, a government school student shouldn't
ain't supposed to be able to achieve these things. You know what I mean?
I in the Capitol Hill talking with John McCain and stuff, and I went to R&Billy.
Exactly. And that's what I really wanted to highlight. So don't allow your background to determine where you end up in life, and don't let people map out of course for you just because of where you come from. You determine your own life. You create your own life based on the decisions you make. And that's just what I wanted to leave people with. So, once again, thank you, Jamaal. This was a wonderful conversation. Gail,
thanks
Travis, always a blessing, always fun. And we're going to leave again with losers make excuses, winners make adjustments. Thank you, people.